I've been at this again and again. I've tried talking for an hour and chopping it down to a manageable length. I've tried writing and then reading off of a script. So I'm just gonna go off the cuff, one take, no edits, and hopefully I can squeeze in everything that I want to say, and I'll just use this as notes. But yeah, the first thing that I want to touch on is the issue of protesters and anarchists and activists. A protester comes down the street and has a sign. I can see who they are. They're making clear what their position is, and we can have a dialogue. In the ideal of situations, we can have a dialogue, even if that dialogue may get heated. But the anarchists, it's right there in their credo. They stand for nothing, and they want it all to come down. But what's funny to me is how they don't. I mean, I understand where they're coming from, being that they don't feel like they have a voice, and so they have to assert themselves any way they can. But it seems like they're against a one world government, everything privatized, corporate controlled future. Yet their actions are expediting that process and making that structure, that new world order, if you will, they're making it an easier and easier sell every time they smash a window, every time they burn a car. I'm not saying what's good or bad or what I want to see happen one way or the other. I'm just sort of giving my thoughts on what's happened and what I see coming. The other thing I want to touch on was the police. Saturday I was rooting for you. Sunday I was not. Sunday I saw a lot of videos. I was studying this story very intently all weekend. And a lot of the video that I saw coming out on Sunday of stuff like storming, the people singing the national anthem and whatnot. Like, yeah, I wasn't there. I don't know who was in the crowd. I don't know who was doing what 15 minutes previous. But when you stack these up and the volume that they've come out, I mean, I understand that at this point there's no patience, and they're tired and they've been at this a while and they're not taking any chances. And that's sort of the flip side of the argument. That's why I can't hold the police 100% responsible. Because when I was in high school law class, we kept coming back to this concept of reasonable grounds for suspicion of. Reasonable grounds was the thing. And so in a situation like that, what had happened on Saturday, people are continuing to gather and chant and they're expressed as protests. Well, protests happened the day before. Protests are going on today. They now have reasonable grounds to suspect that these protests are going to turn into something really, really ugly, and they need to act quickly and boldly to get the situation under control and sort it out. So I think the police did a lot of wrong in certain moments, but I also cut them a bit of slack for the fact that they're there to do a job and they're there to represent our interests because they're hired by the people that we elected. I think that when you have to have $1 billion security bill for somebody, that person may be a bit too powerful, but like I said, we elect these people and this is something we all take part in. If you're against the system, if you think it's all a con and a conspiracy and you want to opt out of it, I mean, everything's so interconnected. You don't know where the flour in the bun that's on your hot dog, don't know that wasn't processed in a plant that's owned by a corporation. Like, it's such a web, and it's so intricately woven together that the only logical conclusion of taking that stance is to move out to some untouched wilderness, build a hut, and live in that, eating food that you picked and grew yourself. Anything else is a level of hypocrisy, and we do what we can to get by and do the best we can, and we create culture as a means of trying to change minds and affect change. But we come to that issue of, okay, we know these people do have this power, and that's the situation, so what do we do now? I think if they would have said we're going to have it in Nunavut, or we're going to have this meeting out on an aircraft carrier in the middle of the ocean, and went on TV and said, this is because we know that violence follows us, so we're going to have it someplace where violence can't be bothered to go or just can't get to. I'm pretty sure that the same hard left-leaning people that I know who are condemning police and this kind of thing, I'm pretty sure that they would be the very first people to stand up and say, you can't do that, you can't have these meetings in secret, you got to have them someplace where we can know what's going on and where we can be there to protest and this kind of thing. So it's a very complicated issue, and there's no easy solution. Like I said, none of this is about me or my opinion or where I think, none of this is the way that I think it should be. It's all about just where I see things going and how I see things fit together, right or wrong, things the way they are. And hopefully I've given you maybe a little bit of a different perspective on it all. But shit, I had a closing thought there. I think I lost it. But if it's important, I'll get another video of it. Sorry, guys, trying to catch that last fucking unifying thought that I had. But it's not so unifying because it's all so splintered and messed up. But I do want to hear from you about this. I want to know what you think about what I've said today, and I want to know what you think about what happened in Toronto over the weekend. Yeah, please leave a comment, get in touch. You know how to click a link, so you know how to find me. Message, video, response, comment on YouTube, Facebook, you know I'm there. Website, email me from there. I do want to hear from you. I do want to know what you think about all of this. So get in touch, and hopefully what emerges from this is some understanding of how we can do better, and some understanding of who we really are. And that's what I was going to touch on. The last point that I was trying to remember that I was trying to get to was just that I wanted to tell Toronto, my city, my hometown, where I grew up, and I've lived all my life. I want to tell the city how proud I am. The fact that things did not turn into what they could have in Montreal, in Quebec, or sorry, they could have but didn't turn into what did happen in Seattle and Quebec City, and that I hear from the police goes on in Montreal all the time, just as a fact of living. I just wanted to put that fact out there, that I think who we are as a city and what we stand for, I mean, it doesn't sell as much newspapers as flashy stories and cars on fire and stuff like that. But the fact that it didn't turn into what it did in Seattle and Quebec City, I think, says a lot about us and what we're about. And it looks really, really good on us, I think. I think that the people of Toronto came through this really honorable. And I'm proud. I'm just really, really proud of my city right now. The people paid to represent the city, cops and politicians, maybe not so much. The people of this city is who I'm proud of. So yeah, like I said, let me know what you think. Comment me back. We're going to keep talking. And as far as videos, I'll see you tomorrow.